So when I was working as a software engineer, I was doing a lot of projects. So again, I was at a much bigger company. And my projects were a lot like more small. So it would be like, oh, you're working on this landing page for like 3 months to like increase conversion, which is important work. But it was like I couldn't really see the tangible like benefit. I never got to talk to anyone who used the product. Maybe one time I did, but not really. I was so distanced from who was using it and like why and their whole like user, like I feel like I didn't have as much empathy with them. Whereas the work I'm doing now, like even on the work I do in one day, I can see, even if I only impact one person, I can see that impact immediately. And it's really rewarding. Like if someone has a question and I answer it, that's just a small example, but or if they have like a bug and I can help them solve it and get the engineering team to like work and fix it and their day like gets better, that is so cool. Or like they get paid from a client because we like connected them with someone, like that is changing lives.
Hey, welcome to Beginner Maps, where we showcase stories of scary career pivots so that you get the courage, path, and role models to carve out a career that you love.
Today, I am thrilled to have Madi Pignetti with us. She's the head of community at Contra, and she has previously been a software developer. So her journey from software developer to being a community professional is a special one. I'm excited to have you here, Madi, with us.
Sweet. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited.
Yay. Madi, how about we start by talking about how your work has changed as you went from the community lead at Contra to the head of community today?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So I started as community lead, and in that position, I was doing a lot of like the in the weeds work, a lot of managing our Slack community, running our ambassador program, and just doing a lot of different things to cultivate relationships with our community. And I was also getting really familiar with our community of freelancers and learning more about like freelancing in general. And then when I became head of community, I still do a lot of the same kind of work, like running our programs and stuff like that, but I do a lot more like high level and strategy stuff as well. So figuring out how our work as the community team aligns with the big picture at the company and how we can really connect with like our product team and engineering team and figure out the vision for like the community going forward and how that intersects with the vision for the product going forward as well. And at an early stage startup, I feel like, you know, people have hands everywhere. So there's definitely still a lot of things that I do that might not align with like a traditional head of community position, but I'm always just excited.
Can you give an example of something that you do outside of maybe your job description?
Yeah, I feel like just there's so many things, but I feel like I'm always like troubleshooting bugs for people, like just messaging community members one-on-one. I do a lot of like, I help our support team a lot. I manage a bunch of freelancers. Since we are a freelance community, we like hiring and supporting our freelancers too. So we always have like fun projects for them to get involved with. And then yeah, internally some like helping with some operations processes and stuff like that. So yeah, I feel like every day I have a different to-do list than the day before. There's always like something that needs to be done.
I love that. I want to double click on the work that you said that you're doing to give the listeners a better idea of what goes into your day-to-day work. So you mentioned, one of the things you mentioned was that you are managing the Slack community, and what can you expand on that? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, so Slack is like a platform that a lot of people use, you know, in their workspaces for like chatting with each other, but we use it also as our like community base, which is the main place that our community members can interact with each other, because they can use our platform, but we don't have a place for them to really interact with each other on platform. So we have like 10,000 of our users and community members in our Slack. So in terms of managing that, it's like creating a content plan, making sure we have like relevant and helpful freelance content for them, sharing resources, and then responding if anyone reaches out with like questions, either about Contra or questions about freelancing, and just helping them like through their journey. But I would say like the
So
one
are
thing
you,
oh yeah.
sorry to interrupt, but just curious. So are you the person who's actually doing all the answering, like whenever somebody has a question?
I do a lot of that. I think one thing that I've learned like from being in this position for over 2 years now is that the community members are really here to like interact with each other. Like they don't want to just like talk to me. So I do try to leave space and encourage like relationships between community members for them to like jump in and answer different things, especially like the more technical like freelancing questions, since I am like a full-time employee now and I'm a little bit distanced from my freelance life. So I feel like a lot of what I do is try to facilitate those interactions and that like community building like between our community members.
Yeah, that yeah, I think that's wonderful. And when you say you're planning the content that you post, so is that like prompts or conversation starters in the Slack, or is it like post sort of thing, advice or information?
Yeah, so we have like a bunch of different ones. So we have like content buckets, and one of them will be like prompts, like questions about either freelancing or like sometimes just icebreakers. Then we also have some freelance resources as one of our buckets. And then like tips about using Contra and the product. And we'll make like fun looms about like different like features and stuff. So those are our main ones. And then we have other ones that we like throw in every once in a while too.
I like that. And I think your previous experience as a freelancer must help you craft that content. And since you have been in their shoes, you're able to generate ideas on what would resonate with the community.
Definitely. I feel like having that experience, it just helps me like empathize with our community. Like I kind of know what they're going through. I also know the problems I was facing as a freelancer that they're probably facing. Like I didn't really have a platform like Contra at the time. I was getting paid through like Venmo and PayPal and stuff without contracts. It was like definitely not the recommended route. So I feel like I've learned so much about like how to have like an organized freelance life through this position too.
I like that. And one of the other things that you mentioned you're doing at your day-to-day was building the strategy and the vision for how the community plays into the business and the value that it gives. So can you talk to us about that first? Like tell us how does the community contribute to the larger business goals of the company?
Totally. Yeah, that's such a good question. And that's something if you asked me when I first started, I'd be like, I don't know, or like, oh, we talk to our users, so of course it contributes. But I feel like I have such a better understanding now. Like, I would say one really big way is like product education. Like, I find that our community members who are in Slack just have such a better grasp of like features that have come out, and like know about how to use the product than some of our community members who haven't joined the community because they just don't have as much touch points with us. And so product education is a huge one, and just learning how to use it and how best to use it, and all the benefits. And then also it just makes like, I would say like the stickiness of the product, it definitely helps. It's something hard to measure, but I have noticed some of our like super community members who are very active are the same people who are really successful on our platform and getting paid and getting hired by clients. So it's, again, some of these goals can be hard to measure with community because they're so like intangible, but it's something you can definitely see. And then the last one I would say is like user feedback, like especially in a startup stage, like hearing from your power users early on about like what's working, what's not working, what their pain points are is so helpful in figuring out what to build and what to prioritize. And I feel like that's one of like the best parts of community because we get to hear that firsthand and share it with the product team and really help shape what the product looks like from that.
I love this. So the community is impacting every part of the holistic like user experience at Contra, from getting user feedback to the product team to improving the stickiness of the product and just informing users about product and the new things that are coming out.
Exactly. And I feel like at the end of the day, we just try to make it fun and make people feel included. And like freelancing can be hard because you are working alone. So I feel like even when like besides the product goals, like it's just awesome to know that these freelancers feel supported and feel like they do have a community that they can go to.
Hmm. You touched upon this like in your answer that it's really hard to measure all of these things that you're saying that the community is impacting. But I think like you do need to like show how these are happening, like in order to present a case for the community to the business leaders or the company leaders. Is that right?
Yeah, so coming from like a software engineering background and math background, I love numbers. So I love KPIs, I love goals, I love all of that kind of stuff. So there are a lot of things that you can measure, whether it's, you know, engagement in the community or like number of support messages that come in per week. One way we definitely use like more concrete numbers is when giving feedback. If 5 people requested a feature this week, that is going to hold more weight to the product team than just like one-off requests. Or if 10 people had the same question this week, that probably means something isn't working and we need to like shift either our messaging or like how something works in the product. So I feel like that's like a really great way. And then also we can just see like at one point we had taken numbers of like how many people are like in the Slack community and how great are like their profiles and portfolios. And then like, what about people who aren't in the Slack community and how does that compare? And it was like really staggering that the people in the Slack community had such better like profiles on our platform and more like complete and stuff like that. Because they were taking like those value actions that we lead them towards. So I feel like there's a lot of stories you can tell with data. It's just figuring out like the right ones.
Love it. So it's I think we'll be talking about it more later in the interview, but I love that your entire background, your all of your experiences as a freelancer and as a software engineer are coming together in this role.
Yeah, no, it's super cool. Like, and I don't know, I'm of the mindset like it must have happened for a reason. So I'm like, I try to take learnings from every part of my life and like apply them to what I'm doing. And yeah, engineering helps a ton. Even if I'm not like at my desk coding, helps me like relate to our engineering freelancers, understand what they're talking about. And then yeah, just I feel like math and data is everywhere now. So like it is really helpful to have some understanding of that.
Yeah, totally. Um, okay, different segue here. So you must have your friends from your software engineering days and college days. So when you think of those friends, what types of personalities do you feel are more suited to be a community manager?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I feel like that's actually a really hard question, but one thing I think about that I try to grapple with is like, I feel like community managers have a reputation of being more like extroverted and like life of the party kind of thing. At least maybe that's just a bias I have towards them. And I am someone who's a bit more introverted. And so I'm always like, can you be an introverted community manager? Am I an imposter? Like, what is going on? But I think what I've realized is that you can thrive in different environments, like depending on your personality. And I think some people are like in the middle. It's not like, you know, two completely different. It's like definitely a spectrum, but there are some extroverted community managers who do a great job of like, you know, hosting events, like emceeing, like really like bringing people together, especially in physical spaces. But what I've noticed about myself and some other more introverted community managers is like, we're really great at listening and like hearing what people are saying and using that to like, for example, like I'm always listening to our community feedback, figuring out how to apply that and make the community better for them. And also like facilitating those interactions. Like I don't necessarily want to be the center of attention, but I want everyone to talk to each other. So like getting all that together, I think that could be a strength. But I don't know if there's like one personality for a community, but I will say like the people I've seen that are really successful are the ones who are just excited about people, whether they're shy, whether they're outgoing, just like excited about like getting together with people and like excited about the like shared value of the community, whether it's freelancing, whether it's like, I don't know, roller skating or something else, like just being passionate about that.
Yeah, I love that you brought this topic about extroverts versus introverts in the community industry, because as a shy person who's also previously a programmer, I find that this is one of my insecurities, that I am unable to, like, I don't feel so much comfortable in public spaces when hosting events, or I am terrible at coming up with prompts to start the conversation in our Slack community. I'm like, I cannot generate anything better than "how has your week been?" or something very generic like that. Um, does that like bother you at your job, or have you learned to look past that?
No, it's funny because I feel like similarly, like if I had to host like in-person events, like I'm sure I could do it, but it's not like my sweet spot or anything. It's not something I'd be like, yeah, let's do it. Like definitely not like my biggest strength. And it is something I'm working on, but I do find like I like being kind of like a facilitator, like on the side, like helping other people, noticing what they're good at. If I see someone who is like, a superstar extrovert, like maybe they host the event and I can help like, get everyone in, support everyone who's there and like stuff like that. So I feel like just noticing like our own strengths is like key, and how we can like use them or like improve other areas. But I don't think there's one right way to be a community manager, and I think we can make it work as fellow shy people. But yeah, sometimes I do get in my head, I'm like, can you be a shy community manager? But at the end of the day, I honestly think it just makes me a better listener and makes me like empathize with the community a bit more, because not everyone can like hop into a community and start engaging, because that is like a scary thing too.
Yeah, that gives me hope. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. And for the prompts, I feel like honestly, I'm sure like you could lean on some of your community with for prompts too, because they probably know best like what they're looking for or like what they want to know.
That's a good idea. Yeah, just once again, just we're good listeners, so we should lean into that and listen to the community for this problem as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so let's talk about your background as a software developer. So you worked as a software developer for almost 2 years, is that right?
Yeah. And then yeah, I went to school for computer science, and did some internships too. So yeah, it was definitely like a long journey. Yeah. So that was
Ha-
my background.
yeah, tell me, how did, like, what's the difference between how working as a software developer made you feel versus what working as a community builder makes you feel right now?
Totally. Yeah, that's a good question. So I'll be honest, when I was a software engineer, I had a tough time. I was really lucky in undergrad because I went to an engineering school that was like 50% women, which is honestly unheard of. Like that is like, I think I don't know, the smallest like difference out of like any school. And our computer science department had like a ton of like women professors, and stuff like that. And I was like kind of spoiled. I had all these like badass like scientist friends who are like women, people of color, queer people. It was so awesome. And then like going into the tech world, I a lot of times would be the only woman on my team, like the only person like my age. And it could be like a little tough for me because I would have like imposter syndrome, and some people might not have been as nice, and I just had like not the greatest experience feeling like included, and like feeling like I belong. So I was always like questioning like, what am I doing here, like is this right for me? And I love like coding and math and all of that. It was more like the emotional part of it that I just couldn't like get past. So I'd say that definitely didn't make me feel good. Um, but like now as a community manager, I feel like I'm on the opposite side because I'm always trying to make other people feel included and feel like they belong. So in that way, I almost have this inherent sense of belonging, which is really nice because I don't have as much of that like doubt and like, I don't know, the like,
Yeah.
I haven't experienced as much of like the sexism in tech since being in a more like soft skills role, but I know it still exists out there, but in my experience, it's been a lot better. I think especially at a smaller company, you don't feel as alone because you know all your coworkers personally.
That's a good point, and I'm so happy that you're not feeling so alone right now, or so out of place. I'm happy for you. I think like this interview will be we can make this a great episode for people who are in software engineering but who want to explore the community building side of things. So what what difference have you found in the work in terms of the actual work that goes on in the day to day in like that you did as a software developer versus the one that you did as that you're doing now as a community builder?
Yeah. So when I was working as a software engineer, I was doing a lot of projects. So again, I was at a much bigger company. And my projects were a lot like more small. So it would be like, oh, you're working on this landing page for like 3 months to like increase conversion, which is important work. But it was like I couldn't really see the tangible like benefit. I never got to talk to anyone who used the product. Maybe one time I did, but not really. I was so distanced from who was using it and like why and their whole like user, like I feel like I didn't have as much empathy with them. Whereas the work I'm doing now, like even on the work I do in one day, I can see, even if I only impact one person, I can see that impact immediately. And it's really rewarding. Like if someone has a question and I answer it, that's just a small example, but or if they have like a bug and I can help them solve it and get the engineering team to like work and fix it and their day like gets better, that is so cool. Or like they get paid from a client because we like connected them with someone, like that is changing lives and that's really awesome, and didn't necessarily get to see that impact before. So that's just for me something motivating, is like seeing that I'm like helping people or like making their lives easier.
I think that would be the biggest difference that I've found as well. You know, how like as a software engineer, you are essentially in the back of the house and you're almost always just by yourself, maybe with your team, and you're coding straight for weeks, if not months. And probably you never even talking to any customer. So it's difficult for you to put the impact of your work, measure the impact of your work or feel the impact of your work. And this is a stark change to what community managers are doing, because they're the most front-facing role out there at a company. So I think that's a really valid difference.
Exactly. I feel like that's such a good point. It's kind of like the front of house, back of house at a restaurant or something too. And yeah, I feel like when I was coding, I like just lacked all the context. I was like, didn't know why I was building things, why I was spending time on things, like if it even like mattered. And everything was measured in like numbers or dollars and not like people. And so that was something I always struggled with too. It was like, we want to make $1 million this year. But I was like, but don't we want to help 250,000 people this year or whatever? But it was just like so different than like now I'm like, I can actually see how many people we're helping and serving and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm curious, like when you're talking to people right now today at Contra, software engineers on the team at Contra, do you try to give them a sense of how their work is impacting the community? Like, is that on your mind today?
Yeah, I think it's so important to talk to both our product team and our engineering teams because they don't get as much, obviously, FaceTime with our community. So I love sharing like positive things the community says. Like if someone's like, Contra changed my life and I've gotten 10 clients from here. Like I love sharing little snippets like that so people can see like that the work they're doing is like really impactful. I love sharing like if we release a new feature and someone's like, this like solved my problem, like I'll share like either a screenshot or a video snippet of them talking about it so they can see like that people are loving the work they did. And I always try to tag them in so they see it, because I think it's so important, one, for you to feel like your work is valued, and two, to see how other people respond to what you're building, because that can be like so motivating.
I love this. I think this is amazing. The fact that like I'm just amazed at how your previous background is coming in all the different ways, giving you more empathy, more knowledge, more insights into this current role and allowing you to present that in a very unique way. But like it's different than what I have seen when I've been talking to other community people out there.
It is interesting because it like sneaks up on me. Like even talking to you now and thinking about like in that position, I'm like, wow, like I should talk to our engineering team more and let them know. Like I do try to, but I'm like, what if they feel like I did in my old role? And I'm like, yeah. So even just saying it out loud, I'm like, oh wow, there's so much like more I could do too. But yeah, I feel like little parts of my life always just like come back and like sneak in here. Yeah.
Yeah, love that. Okay, for the next segment, I'm gonna pass the mic on to Piyush, and he has prepared like a very little game for us, a rapid fire game. So, Piyush, over to
Okay,
you.
cool.
Okay, Mary, the game we're going to play is called Routine Roulette. And through this game, we want to give the listeners a feel of what a week is like in your shoes. So, what I'm basically going to do is call out some times of the week, and you try to tell me what you might be doing around that time. Is that cool?
Yeah, sounds good. Yes.
Okay. Let's begin with the first day of the week. Say it's Monday, it's 11 a.m. on a Monday. What are you up to?
Okay, 11 a.m. on a Monday. Usually I'm probably deep in the community because we, start of the week, I'm trying to figure out messages that came in over the weekend, making sure everything is resolved. There's no like fire issues that I need to like bubble up to the team. And then actually I just remembered I do have a meeting at 10 a.m. on Mondays that sometimes goes through to like 11:30 where we talk about like our metrics for the week. So all the leadership team is there and all the PMs, and we go over how we're doing on our metrics, if we're like on track, if we're like behind, and then we brainstorm ideas to like improve the product based on like how our metrics are doing.
Okay. Let's move on to the next day. Say it's Tuesday and it's 2-3 p.m. What are you doing?
What am I doing on Tuesday at 3 p.m.? Okay, I think Tuesday, 3 p.m., I'm likely doing some like support inbox check-in because it's like afternoon. I had my morning meetings and I am just checking to see if anyone has emailed us and if there are any fires I need to put out.
What do you mean by fires?
Like any bugs, any like if there's any disputes on the platform, any like issues that our users are facing.
Oh, got it, got it. Okay. Now it's Thursday and it's 9 p.m. Are you still working?
No. At 9 p.m. I'll probably be chilling, watching some TV, maybe playing a game on my phone. And if it's like an extra spicy week, I might be like at the bar with some friends.
Okay, super good. What game do you play on your phone?
Right now I'm playing this game Paco Forever. I don't know if you guys have played it. It's like a car racing game. It's really fun. And then sometimes I play threes. I'm like addicted to that game.
Okay, maybe we'll play that, Nitish.
They're both free. You should check them out.
Okay, and it's the last day of the week. It's Friday. How do you go about wrapping up your work? Is Friday the last day for you?
Yeah, Friday's the last day for me. Usually in the afternoon, I try to make a list for myself of anything I didn't close out that week so I can get to it on Monday. And besides that, once I wrap everything up, I love like going outside for a long walk or doing something else to like bookend my week to like signal the start to the weekend. And usually doing something social with friends on Friday night is always fun too.
Wow, that sounds like a cool week.
Yeah. I hope, yeah, I hope that answered all your questions.
Yeah, you did. Thanks, Maddie. Back to you, Nitesh.
I think those were that was really interesting for me to learn, Madi, just as a spectator, how your week looks like on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, I'm like, now I'm thinking, I'm like, what do I do on Tuesday at 3 p.m.?
All right, Maddie. So for this next segment, I'm gonna focus on the transitions that you have made in the career. Let's start by talking about the time when you quit your job as the software engineer. So you decided to quit the job before you knew exactly what you wanted to do next. Was that scary?
Yeah, it was terrifying. So I had actually taken like a 3-month mental health leave from work because, like I said, I could not handle the emotional part of it. It was really tough. And so I had just gotten back and I was there for about a month and I was, I was really like refreshed. So I was ready to like get back into it. And there was like a boot camp I could take. They had like a bunch of like learning opportunities at this job. And so I was taking like a coding boot camp for like another language that I didn't know. I honestly don't remember which one it was. But I was sitting in this boot camp and I was like writing like code poems in my notebook. And I was like, what am I doing here? I just like had this realization. I was like, there's so many other things I want to do. Like I want to write, I want to make a book. I want to like, I don't know. I had all these ideas and I was like, I don't think this job is it for me. And I just realized like in this one moment there where I wasn't really paying attention that it wasn't the right place for me. And I like ran back to my manager and I was like, I'm putting in my 2 weeks. And she was like, are you sure? Like, do you want to think about this? And I was like, no, like I'm just going to do it. And she was like, okay, like she was really confused, but I just like had this moment of clarity and I was like, I need to get out of here. And then, yeah, it was awesome. I had like some savings. So I like had at least like, I think 6 or 12 months of rent saved up. So it was awesome, like having some free time and like figuring out what I wanted to do. But it was scary too, because I ended up looking for a job for like a year and a half before I got a job. So it was tough and the rent money
Wow.
started running out. I was doing odd jobs to like pay rent and stuff, and like freelancing. So actually it turned out well because my freelancing experience did help me. But yeah, it was definitely like a wild ride that I didn't expect, but I think it got me to the place I am now, which has been great. So I am grateful for that, taking that leap and figuring it out.
Wow, this is super cool, Mari. I mean, you going from this, having this one moment of realization and then taking the courage and giving in your 2 week notice, I've never heard of. And then after that, there was this 1.5 year period where you were without like a full-time job. And that must have been really scary too, because, you must be contemplating that was that the right decision or not, is it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, I was applying to jobs. I didn't even know what I wanted. I was applying to software jobs. I applied for some like community and DevRel jobs. I applied for writing jobs and none of my experience quite matched up. So no one was really like taking the leap on me, which now as someone who reviews resumes occasionally, I'm like, okay, yeah, I probably wouldn't have hired myself either. But yeah, like I was doing a bunch of odd jobs, so it was okay, but I ended up like moving back to Philly from the West Coast for like cheaper rent while I was unemployed and just like figuring out like what to do. And I had also quit like 4 months before the pandemic started, so it wasn't like the
Wow.
easiest time to find a job because everyone was looking for jobs. So yeah, it was like not the best timing in retrospect, but I never would have known that either way. So
I'm so glad that everything worked out and you're here to tell us the story. Like, is there anything that you did during that time that helped you be more confident about, be more optimistic about the future?
yeah, let me think. So I feel like really just like connecting with myself and figuring out what I like to do and what was like important to me was really helpful. But what I really ended up doing during the pandemic was writing. Like I took a bunch of writing classes. Since I was living in San Francisco, the community college is free. So I ended up getting a certificate of creative writing from the community college and found these amazing communities in a time where I couldn't see any of my friends because we were all inside. So we were all like meeting virtually, but it was so awesome to like meet people and read their work and like connect on that level. And then yeah, then I just I took so many writing classes over the pandemic. I was just always looking for like, I think just something to do, something to fill my time and a way to like process my thoughts during such a wild worldwide like time. And that really helped me just like learn a lot and like introspect and stuff like that.
How did you go from not knowing what you want to do to discovering community and that community building being something that you really want to do?
Yeah, I feel like community has kind of been a through line like in my whole life, but I just didn't realize like when I was in undergrad for software engineering, like 2 of my internships were community engagement internships. Like one, I was doing 1 day a week at our like IT center or 3 days a week at our IT, 2 days a week at my community management engagement internship at an art gallery. And then after I graduated, I was doing an internship at another art gallery doing community engagement, but I didn't know that was like a field that like paid money that I could like pursue. And I didn't know that it was like part of, the tech world or anything. I thought it was like kind of like a nonprofit position that I didn't know if I would be able to do like with my life. But it was just something I loved. So I was doing it for those. And then even when I was in school, I was like hosting events and planning different like I like started a bunch of clubs to bring people together for different things. And even at Intuit, one of my favorite things I did as a software engineer was join the like women in tech like club at our work and like help them like plan events and get involved with things. So I just feel like I always want to be the one bringing people together. So I feel like that helped. And then I applied for Contra to be an ambassador. I don't remember if I applied as a writing ambassador or engineering ambassador because I was doing a bunch of applications at the time, but I came on and then really loved their Slack community and was just like engaging and talking to people and just having like a good time. And the team liked how I was engaging and asked me to come on part-time to help with the community. And then so that role kind of just like fell in, but I feel like my experience prepared me for it.
That's so cool. I love it when there are these stories about people who just joined a community they like and they're engaging in there and they're able to make that into their full-time roles. That has happened like a few times with guests on this podcast. So I had to dig deeper here. Can you tell me more about what that ambassador program was and what did you do that made the people at Contra hire you as their community builder?
Yeah, no, it's such a good question. So I feel like our ambassador program is different than like a traditional one. Like a lot of them are like, posts on social and stuff, but it was honestly more like beta testing the product and making a profile, giving feedback. We would like film looms of us doing certain like flows of the product and give feedback. And me coming from software engineering background and also like when I was unemployed, one of the things I was doing was like usertesting.com, like testing products, giving feedback. So I love that kind of thing. So I would make these really long detailed looms. I'd be like, oh, this was confusing, or I love this or whatever, and give like feedback about like how the experience was. And I think that really stood out, like, because I was putting a lot of time and effort into like the feedback. And then also in the Slack community, I was posting prompts, replying to people, posting resources I loved, and just like genuinely like engaging. And I think that also really stood out to the team. And I think like the main thing is communication. Like that's at least a big thing with us. Like we really over communicate because we are a remote company. So when in our like calls and in our like Slack message, I would just communicate, reply. Like it sounds like the bare minimum, but a lot of people honestly don't do that. And I just tried to bring my whole self like to the program. It was my main focus for the 2 weeks. And I think I tried to go like above and beyond, and it did work out and it stood out to them. So I was very happy to come on full time after.
I love this. So while you were doing all of this work and going to go beyond, did you know that there was a possibility of you being hired full time there?
So they had mentioned in the beginning of the program that they love hiring people from the ambassador program. So I heard that and I was like, cool, like I need a job. These people seem awesome. I'm gonna like put a little extra love into all my work here. And yeah, it did work out. And honestly, like in the program, like the two people who run it, Sam and Zoe, were so fun and awesome. I was like, I've never been in a workplace where people are like so happy to like be here and so like energetic, and it was kind of contagious. And I was very motivated to work there because I just loved the environment so much.
This is so cool. And then very soon, so you joined them, you became the community lead, and soon after that, you became the head of community, which is so cool. Like it's just you're climbing the ladder just so fast. What do you think, what prompted this promotion from community lead to head of community?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I feel like honestly, like because we were a new product in the beginning, like we did have a head of community, but she ended up going on to be head of operations and kind of look at more like our operations as a company. And there was this like opportunity for head of community, and our community was growing, our user base was growing, and like we were just getting a lot more like traffic and signups and stuff. And I feel like we honestly did just need someone in that position to kind of like wrangle all the community initiatives and like organize it. And at the time, I was pretty much the only person on the community team. There was like a new hire that had just joined, and we work closely with the social team, but it really was like kind of just a great opportunity that I was lucky to like be there for.
I love this. Did you just curious, did you have to pitch yourself there, or was it like you were an obvious choice for this role?
It was actually a surprise. Like I did not know this was gonna happen. And my manager like had a conversation with me one day and was like, hey, how do you see the future of your role? And I was like telling her, and she's like, well, what do you think of like head of community? I was like, yeah, that sounds like a great role I'd love to have someday. And she's like, cool, like you're promoted. And I was like, what? I was like so shocked. Like I literally had no idea it was coming, and I was just like in a state of shock. And she was like to me, she was like, you shouldn't be surprised about these things. Like you worked for it. Like you shouldn't be surprised. Like you should expect this. And I was like, that is really good feedback. And I should think more like that. But at the time I really was like in a state of shock.
This is amazing. It's such a great story. I love this, Madi. Okay. Now, with when you became head of community, you also became a first-time people manager, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was that experience like? I know that you have never managed. You're not an expert at management, but I think I'm curious to learn what it was like. What were the challenges that you faced as a first-time manager, and maybe what do you feel that you've learned?
Yeah, that's such a good question. So yeah, I was a first time manager. I had like managed like projects before and like help people like, figure out their roles on projects. But yeah, had never like people managed before. So it was really interesting to like jump into that, and going from like working as a peer with someone to being their manager was like a tricky adjustment. Because that can definitely be like awkward at first. Just a change in like power dynamic. And I think I probably did things wrong in the beginning. Like sometimes I didn't want to have those hard conversations at first. Like if someone wasn't performing well and things like that. But over time, like I just realized if you don't have the hard conversations, they only get harder. And if you don't give feedback early, it's just gonna negatively like impact the other person. So I think just like honestly, the biggest thing I learned was just having open communication, and like being able to like openly communicate with people you're managing, and having them be able to like communicate with you is like the best thing for a good relationship.
That's sounds like an important lesson. What did you learn about delegating work versus doing it yourself?
Yeah, that is like a tough one too, because sometimes I want to just be like, oh, I don't want to delegate, I'll just do it, like, or whatever. And early on, that was like a lot of it. But I think like it goes back to what we were talking about like other people's strengths. Like there are some things that like people on my team are really great at that maybe I'm not the best at, or things that I excel at that I could do really quickly that might take them a longer time. So I try to use that when thinking about delegating, and then also just making really clear like roles and responsibilities and how different people's like the scope of their roles versus mine, and seeing like what falls into that. And also like giving people ownership of different projects. So like this is their project. I'm happy to jump in and help wherever needed, but this is like something they own like the implementation and outcomes of, because I think that's really motivating too. Like I never want to give someone like just grunt work that they don't get to see the results from or don't get to see the impact. So having them like own a project, see it to fruition, and like also get to get the praise and see the positive benefits that come out of it too.
This is such an important part of being a good manager. I am so glad to hear that you're doing all of these well. You were saying that you're not comfortable talking about being a people manager. I think you're doing everything great.
Thank you. Yeah, it's still like I probably started managing a year ago, but it is still like a learning curve. And yeah, so I just didn't know. I didn't want to give any false advice out there, but yeah, definitely learning something every single day.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is great advice, the one that you've already given. So talking about advice, I have like a few questions that I wanted to ask you that will help the listeners who are either trying to enter the community industry or just trying to go in there. First, like, what resources would you recommend to people who are transitioning into their new community role?
Yeah, that's a great question. Honestly, I feel like the biggest resource is like other people and other communities, especially in the beginning. So if there's a community you're interested in, like I would join it, see how it's run, like see what they're doing. Are they asking prompts every day? Are they using Slack? Are they an in real life community? Are they hosting events? And just like learning almost from doing and from like observing is really big. And then I feel like once you have at least some grasp of community, I love books. I always go to books. So I feel like I love the book Building Brand Communities. That's a really great one. Or The Art of Gathering. Those are two like really popular like community books, but I think they're great starting places. And then there's always like the internet is a great place. There's YouTube. Community Club has a great resource library that I go back to a lot. There's articles on everything. But yeah, I really would say like just observing a few communities, how they run, what you like about them, and also what you don't like. You can learn a lot from going to a community that you don't feel a part of, because you can see either like what they're doing like to cultivate that community, or things that you don't want to do with your own community. And I feel like there's just so much to learn from like observing those kinds of situations.
I think this is such an important point that learning from other communities. So you not just learn the good things that they're doing. Like when you see something's not working, you can just be a doctor and try to diagnose the problem and make sure that you don't have that problem in your own community.
Exactly. And I try to do that a lot, because it's hard to do it with your own community when you're in the weeds, but it's so easy if you join a community to see what you like about it and what you don't.
Yeah. Which is what's a community that you've joined that you like?
Okay, I thought you were gonna ask the opposite, and I was
Yeah,
like,
no.
I cannot say. I love the Super High community. I think you had Max on Beginner Maps
Yeah.
previously, but he does a great job there. Rick, who started it, great job. It's just so fun. And I think what they do really well is that they have a really targeted community. It's, people who are taking their courses. So one, these community members are really invested because they've already paid for the courses. They're all like on this learning journey together, and they can like really help each other. And it's a lot of like, design inspiration and sharing the work that they've made. And it's just really cool, like curious environment. So I love like snooping in there, finding cool stuff. Sometimes I help people with freelancing questions, but I find like a lot of really cool websites from their Slack community. And I take
Love
some
it.
of their
Yeah.
courses too. I haven't finished them, but that's why I'm in there in the first place.
That's so cool to hear. Shout out to Max once again. He's guest
Yes.
number 3 on the podcast. So excited to
Whoa,
have.
nice. Early
Yeah.
days.
Okay, Madi, final question of the interview. If you could recommend one action for listeners to take after listening to this interview, what would it be?
Oh, that's such a good question. It's like a little homework assignment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess on topic, I would say like join a community like that you're excited about. Like, it should definitely align with your interests, but maybe you're a writer and you want to join a writing community. I would find one, get involved, like see if it's the right fit for you, and see if like you're interested in community building, or like how you want to show up to different communities. And that could be digital or physical. Like I'll take an action too. I've been meaning to go to more like in-person events in my area that I have admittedly been slacking on. So I will try attending one of those because I think it's important, community manager or not, like showing up for our communities and connecting with others, especially locally, is so important just for our own sake and also like for the community longevity.
All right. This is powerful action item, Madi. I think this is going to help a lot of people who are getting into community management.
Yeah, it's definitely a big one. And I know it's scary, but I think it can be really valuable and rewarding.
I love this. Okay, that's the interview, Madi. Thank you so much for joining us. I think this was a very insightful conversation. You have shared a lot of awesome tips with us, along with your amazing story. It is honestly so inspiring. So I am just so grateful that you were able to find the time to have this conversation here.
Thank you so much. It was so great talking to you both. And I feel like I've done some like really like digging deep into myself today too with some of these questions. So yeah, it was so awesome to get to chat with you.